Hello guys, today we're going to make something that may seem a little too basic to be a recipe, but it is a recipe, and as a matter of fact it is the basis of a lot of recipes. And if you want to make it, half the time you have to go to the store and pick it up. It comes in a little box or a bouillon, and today actually we're going to make it from things that you would normally throw away. We're going to make it all natural, no ingredients, no preservatives. What are we talking about? We're making vegetable stock. I'm Connie. This is Home Cooking. Let's get started. So here we have a nice big pot. Mine's stainless steel, which I always find it's a lot easier to clean one of these. And here is our bag. I always wait until it's either halfway or all the way up, but I really need to make some stuff this week, so I'm going to use what I have now. And I'm going to put all of this in here, just like that. That's just a peel. We don't need that. And I'm going to take some water. And as I do that, multitasking here, maybe a little bit over, more or less like about a half or a little bit over half, because the liquid is going to absorb all of those great veggies. But we're not just doing veggies and water, we're also going to add some seasonings to it. And at this point, I want to also just credit my brother-in-law, Anthony, do a shout out to him, because when I was first doing this recipe, I first had started to do it. I said, I wonder if people have been doing this. And I found it on the internet. I go on there and look at stuff. But he said, oh yeah, we do that all the time. You just take whatever you have left over from whatever vegetable. I don't know how well potatoes work. I don't usually use them. But I've used carrots, onions, a little bit of celery. There might be something else in there. There's something good in there. And you could put it in and just use it on this day. Now I'm going to put a little bit of salt, just a little bit, not too much, just a little bit to season it. Don't put too much of anything because of the fact that you're going to add more. That's salt. I'm going to get some pepper. You're going to add more when you make soup or when you make your recipe. Remember, this is really like a base. There's some pepper, ground. Now I'm going to add, you ready for this? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Okay? Yes, I kid you not. Here goes parsley, a little bit, not too much. The ground is okay. If you have the fresh, go ahead and use that. But I usually use this. Here's some sage. I love this stuff. Here's rosemary. Just that up. And thyme. I don't add oil, I don't add anything like that. That's for your recipe. So this is actually, I mean, if you didn't feel well, it probably wouldn't hurt you any to drink that. Get a cold. You give this a nice stir. right? And I'm going to let this come to a boil. And then I'm going to lower it. But first we'll bring it to a boil, and we'll come back as soon as it's boiling. Coming back a little sooner because I forgot to mention something, and that is that if you're doing it on the stove, you might want to just don't totally forget about it. Just keep an eye on and give it a little stir. My lid fell there. And make sure that there's enough liquid. Sometimes it can evaporate, some of it will evaporate. So make sure that you have enough liquid. Just add to it. It's not, the end of the world. You just add a little bit more liquid. And like I said, maybe your time will be decreased. I have it set for about 2 hours, but I will come back. And by the way, I want to just say thanks for humoring me before with my with my little intro there. I figured, what the heck? Let's make it fun. Cooking is fun and enjoyable. Also, another thing that I want to. Let me see. What was the other thing? Another thing that I wanted to tell you is when it's already finished, when we know it's finished, we're going to take it off the heat, and we're going to let it cool. All right. Just let it cool substantially. And then we'll come back and I'll tell you what we're going to do at that point. All right? And you go ahead and cook. Okay, so our veggie stock is now done. It's been a couple of hours. What I did was I let it cool, and I also, I cooled it, I first drained it when it was still hot very carefully into a bigger pot with the help of a colander that went over that rim, and that caught all of the scraps of the veggies. And then I cheated a little bit, full disclosure, and I put it in the refrigerator so that this pot would just cool off a little bit. It wasn't super hot by the time it went in there, but it cooled off a little bit so it'd be easier to handle. Then I just ladled some of the fluid into some measuring cups, which make it easier for me to pour it and get it in there too. Here are a couple of mason jars with the lids that I'm going to use. Okay, so you can see how much. Look at that color. Isn't that a beautiful color? It still spills some. Still spills a little bit. It still has, and if you look at it, there's actually spices in it. Still spilling a little bit. Carefully. Don't fill it too much. Still a little bit warm. Yeah, still a little bit warm. Whatever's left, I'm gonna grab some ladle. I'm gonna use this week because I'm gonna make a vegetable soup, and I hope to be able to make a video on it. A spicy vegetable soup, so you can make that at home. It's great for this time of year. This doesn't take as much. Okay, and the rest I'm going to put into a big plastic bag that I'm going to put into the freezer. Okay, one last word about those freezer bags. You can use any of the big Ziploc bags. I'm going to have to do that because I have quite a bit left. You just put them in the refrigerator, to the freezer. I don't take that long to use them. I will, within a couple of weeks, end up using my veggie stock. But when you take them down to defrost them, I don't know if it's condensation or what, but they do leak a little bit. So bring them down, defrost them in a nice big bowl, okay? And like that, you don't have a mess. We clean enough. And they also make these that are special for the freezer. And I think they have a wider mouth to them. But I put these into the freezer, and they can rupture inside, and it comes off in like one big piece, but it's dangerous. It's better, I just prefer the bags and these if I'm just going to put them in my refrigerator. So that's it. That took the mystery out of that, and I hope you'll like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already done so you don't miss any upcoming recipes. Like I said, I hope to be making the soup one very soon, okay? So thanks a lot for coming. Happy cooking.